Look what arrived. Oh goodness, it's longer than I thought. Yes, rods. Brass rods. Because I have this much 3/16 inch brass rod, which would be good for the buckle I need to make for the belt. But this buckle, I actually used, oh gosh, I forget what thickness this is, but that thickness in brazing rod. And I've got a feeling that's not going to be something I can really do again. Just because I just don't want to be stealing brazing rod all the time for this kind of stuff. So I got myself some smaller stock to make brass buckles when I need to. I also have some more 3/16 stuff on the way because I do want to make a few penannular style brooches. That'll be cool. But the timing for this couldn't have been better because now I can actually make the buckle for. Oh no! Oh, that's right. I got the little bit in here. Make the buckle that goes on this guy, which plugs into here, so I can get that all squared away and closed up. And yeah, then I can see where I need to punch holes on the strap and how all of this is going to line up and yada yada yada. So I took the old cloth tape, which I think I've said this before, but this is a weird cloth tape. Normally with tapes like this end is included in the measurement, but if you look, it's not. You have your full inch after your little metal clip, which probably throws some people off since I have used this in my Etsy shop before to show the size of a bracelet or something, and if people aren't, you know, it's on a curve, and so you can't really tell all the time. It's not extremely obvious, but it's a weird cloth tape in that sense. But anyway, I took the cloth tape and I measured the original buckle, so I just kind of said, oh, this is roughly the corners here, so that's about yay measurement, and then the side, about that corner. It's all radiuses, so you're just calling areas corners, even though they're not really corners. And it kind of worked out to this. A convenient little formula. So this would be that rounded over part right on the front of the, that bit right there. That's our 1 inch. And then the sides 3/4, and then to the back, you know, where that bends around and they meet, and the tongue comes from the back, half. So it drops by a 1/4 inch every time, which I thought was a nice, neat, little convenient formula. And initially this looked like it was going to be, like 1 inch was going to be too big, but now they put the little bend in it, it's looking about right. So all I did for that was I took the old buckle and held it up and stuck it in each of these divots. I just kind of went around and was like, okay, which one's got the closest, you know, to the correct radius in it? It's this one. I pre-bent those sides, so this is now imagine a bracket, a squared off U shape. I set that in here, so that middle section is just floating because it's straight. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll start off with the one of these that best fits this. Well, it's not a great fit, you know, between those. So I went smaller and smaller and smaller, and yeah, you just kind of work on down. Let's see. So initially the first one fit like that, but now it's all pressed down. So it's got the correct radius on it. Turns out that you actually want a few sizes too small. That is far too small for that size, but really, well, it's a little big for that one. But whatever. I mean, it all works out eventually. So next up is bending here and here so that meets up, putting the tongue on, and then, of course, hammering this flat and doing some little chisel marks. And what I did here that I like is I took a little, gosh, I think for this one it was just a ball peen hammer. I just laid one right there and then took another ball peen hammer on top, and I just bap. And it gives it a nice little spot for that tongue to rest on, which, funny enough, on this one, it's not really a big deal. Just because of the shape of things. Well, you know, given that it's bent, it actually does kind of use it. But it would be a more important detail if the tongue only reached that far, so that way the tip of it rested in the little divot instead of the suede back of it, however you want to try to describe the weird shapes going on here. And ideally with this, I'll have some excess material. So once I start this fold right here, and I fold that across, and I take this one and I fold it across, obviously since they're currently in line with one another, they would bump into each other, so one's going to have to shift to one side a little, one's going to have to shift to the other side a little. so that way they lay in parallel with one another. And then I'll just find the middle, take the saw blade, and zoop, part them. So now I have two cleanly butted ends. Everything's nice and even. Then I'll take some more of this material, and we'll get to making the tongue, and I'll show some of that. All right, got to come clean. This one developed a crack in it. Where'd it go? There it is. And yeah, either I just didn't remember that I needed to heat this up more than I thought I would have to, or this particular variety of brass work hardens a little quicker than what I originally used, which it's been so long, it probably is the fact that I probably just forgot that, oh, I had to heat this up between various steps to relieve some stresses. But here we go. We're at this step now. Done my little punch work. I'm going to do the file work here because I remembered that's not actually chisel work, that's just hitting it with a file. So that'll be cool. And then I will finish the bends after that, since it seems to have worked out much better to have hammered and done all these steps at this point, rather than trying to do all the hammering and things when this is already in shape. It's just things start to stretch and bend and you get to tweak more, and I think this is for the best. It's easier to tweak things back into shape after deforming them with the hammer when it's only this far. So, lesson learned. I mean, it's not like I do these often. I need refreshers once in a while, and this is it. I realized that the tongue is smaller material. It's actually this diameter, which is brazing rod, and not all the same diameter. So that's an oopsie on my order, although there are still more things that need to arrive from this place that I ordered some stock from. It's just, it's a pain to consider paying shipping twice, even though shipping was surprisingly cheap for the fact that these are all coming in separate packages, apparently. So anyway, my memory was actually correct. I second-guessed myself in wondering about, this one that it cracked. Yeah, this brazing rod, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it's surprisingly far more ductile than this stock. But, on the other hand, I bet this stuff takes a better polish. So anyway, I've got this forged out, and what I'm going to do is take these pliers. The diameter of the stock is about the size of this guy right here. So I'll just grab that and then start wrapping it. And I'll probably hit this with the wire wheel and then go and polish it up some. And then I'll finish clamping that U shape around the back of the buckle here. And of course, before I do that, I'll cut this to length and file the end down a little bit and get things shaped. So I'll see you on the other side of all that. Alright, I'm going to go clean the rouge residue off of this with some alcohol. And I'm going to call that a night. It's after midnight. I'm going to call it an early night. And I'm going to start tomorrow by sewing this in place where it belongs, because that is going to become very helpful when I get to all those little tiny plates and that buckle strap end thing. Because I kind of have a feeling that I shorted myself with the strap here. I thought I wasn't going to. In fact, I used my pattern, and I think due to certain changes in the new pattern, I have ended up shorting myself. So I might be starting the day redoing that as well. Not a huge deal. I mean, all of these holes are going to be in place, so it'll be easy enough to stick a new strap in there and prick that pattern and then punch those out. Those extra little things, it's going to take a little extra time. It's like, crap. Couldn't have seen that coming. Looks like we're redoing it.